Hey y'all, I'm Mia.
Hey, and I'm Kiara.
And welcome to A Single Mother's Tale podcast, where we talk about motherhood, parenting, healing, elevation, and education.
And we also talk about our own personal experiences as being single mothers, shedding light on those real conversations that mothers are afraid of having. We are telling the tales and raw truths about single motherhood.
We hope at the end of this episode, our shared experiences offers clarity, insight, comfort, and support as we all are navigating through motherhood.
Check 1, check 2, check 2. Welcome to the girls' room. Hey, welcome back to our podcast, A Single Mother's Tale.
Woo! You back with episode 2, friend?
Episode 2, we at it.
Cheers.
Am I gonna be the only one drinking this time? I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna let you.
Let me get my first 3 sips in. That was one.
You got some in your hair, friend. Thank you, friend. So, what we got to tell these folks today?
Today, we're talking about feminine and masculine energy. Women being in their alpha and then the masculine, as we like to call it, alpha females. We're going to be talking about healing, growing, and turning over into our feminine, well, for me, into my feminine. And we're going to talk about a little bit about submissive, a lot about our healing journey, and just our spiritual connectedness.
Coming into this womanhood.
Woo-hoo. New age.
Yes.
So let's get into it. So once again, I'm Mia, and so about coming into the feminine and masculine era. So for me, I used to view myself as an alpha female. I used to be like I was in my feminine, not my feminine, correction. I was in my masculine. So my immature mindset, I would be like, oh, I don't need a guy for nothing, or as we young women say, nigga for shit, but some dick, because I'm making good money. I'm in my career, and I used to think like, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need a man to do nothing for me. Like, you can't do shit for me, but you need some dick. So what you gonna do for me? Like, and now like I need a man. Like, I need a king. Like, I love my king.
What you need him for?
To provide, protect, to lead, to pour into me, to help uplift each other, build our kingdom, to evaluate, elevate, and educate me. I'm a sapiosexual, and so I thrive off the challenges of a mind. So if you can stimulate me mentally, then, ooh, baby. So I need a man for that, to continue to help me grow as a woman, to continue to educate me, because I don't know everything. But if we're educating each other and we're doing that, like, that's what I need my man for. It's not even more so about the finances. Like, I want my man to come to me financially stable, financially correct, for sure. Not no, baby, can I borrow $5? None of that. But yeah, so with me, I was maybe in my alpha. I would say, like, even when I had my child, like 2020, and I started turning over my leaf 2023, because back then I was a little controlling, I would say, and controlling, like, not like a little puppet master, but controlling with, as far as like how I wanted things done specifically, and I would be, where you at, or I'd be going through my man's phone or whatever like that. But now I'm not going through no phone. I'm not doing that. And for me, I kind of look at an alpha woman or a masculine female almost as a feminist. Like, you know how as feminists, equal rights, equal everything, equality, anything you can do, I can do better. Like, that was my mentality. And a man couldn't tell me nothing. Like, especially if I was making more money than them, I'm not even saying that I was looking down upon them, but I definitely was looking a little different.
Like, you can't do anything for me.
Yeah.
You can't teach me nothing. You ain't been there, done that. So,
especially
what are we talking about?
If you're going 50-50 on the bills, like 50-50, no. Like, yeah, so basically like what you got going on? And not to say that I didn't date those men. I was dating those men, but I didn't treat all of them the same. That's mainly why I was probably like just single for a long time, because I had an immature mindset. Like I was immature back then, and I started talking to this guy, and when I had told him that, like, I mean, like, what you gonna do? And he was on like, oh, that's immature thinking. Like, you just don't need a man for a dick. Like, a man could, you know, be there for you in different areas of your life that can assist you, not only in the bedroom, like, they can assist you mentally, physically, spiritually. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So I went, hey, he's a grown ass man. But the downside about him was, like, he was a minimalist. Like, he was driving like a 1998, 97, like Mercedes Benz. I think I told you about this story. And like, I think one of the windows didn't roll up. He said he didn't have no AC in the car. And he was like, you want to take me on a date? Like, so I'm gonna pull up. When I seen the car, I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna drive my car.
Oh my goodness.
And he like, no, you gonna drive my car. Like, he was such a gentleman though. Like, went to his car door to open the door. I'm like, no, I just feel more comfortable driving, because honestly, I didn't know if the thing was gonna break down. We were gonna stop in the middle of the road. And he had on Doc Martens. Nothing wrong with Doc Martens, but these are the same Doc Martens I seen when I first met him, and I kept seeing them. But he was like super financially stable and everything, but it was like the car and everything. But we had a good conversation, and when he told me that, I'm like, I'm not mature enough to date this man, because even though his car was like that, he didn't have no car note. Only thing he had to pay for was a insurance, phone bill, house was paid for. But I wasn't ready for that, like, because when I said that statement to him, he looked at me like, oh, I'm dealing with an infant, like, I'm dealing with a child. So I knew right then and there, like, I need to change my thinking. Like, I can't be stuck in this mindset of I only need a man for dick, because the way that man look at me, I don't never want somebody to ever look at me again. Like, it was just like, damn, I gotta take her out now because I'm here, but I know I'm not taking her out no more. Like, I'm so glad he still pays her bill. But, like, yeah, so.
All about the change mindset. That's where I'm at right now too. Like, just dating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it takes, you really gotta think about longevity. What do you want for yourself and your family long term? And if he marks off that checklist, then that materialistic things, you know, that can change over time, because that car is going to end up messed up one day. He's going to have to get a new one, and guess who's going to be able to afford a brand new car? Yes.
So that's that. So then too, about, you know, our feminine and our masculine energy and being in my alpha at that time is, you know, because of who I had to look up to growing up. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about, you know, being raised in a single parent household. So I was raised in a single parent household, and then my mom married my stepfather, and they dated for however long they dated for, and then they divorced. So, and I'm not gonna even get into that, that's my story and stuff, but just seeing my mom work 2 or 3 jobs and seeing her provide, her protect, her lead, it showed me like that's what I had to do growing up. You know, my mom cooked, but because she was a chef, but she really didn't cook that much, so she'd have us, like, she taught us how to cook growing up at an early age. And so we would have to have dinner ready when they got home, the house had to be cleaned or whatever. But I see my mom as a strong woman who worked countless hours. Sometimes I wouldn't even see her, you know. So I learned, or I was taught that this is what I had to do. I had to work to pretty much make ends meet, because that's really what we was doing. She was doing, making ends meet and making it. And how she was making it, Lord, I don't know, but making it, you know. I used to wear hand-me-downs, like my sister clothes, when we share clothes, you know. And so I went through the struggle, but the figure that I had in my life was a strong woman who's providing, she's protecting her kids, and she's leading the pack. I wasn't taught how to be a woman. I wasn't taught how to be submissive or how to even be feminine because all I knew was my mom working, and if anybody needed anything, they would call my mom. Like if anybody needed somebody to fight, they was calling my mom. Some discipline on their kids, they were calling my mom to beat other people, whoop other people's kids. So I seen my mom being the provider and protector for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, they knew if she was coming, some smoke was happening, something was going on. So that's what I had to grow up into. So now, when I was in my alpha, because I was providing, protecting, and leading. I was the breadwinner or whatever, and you really couldn't tell me anything. So I believe that, growing up in a single parent household, we have these traits and these qualities of a strong black woman, and we're taught to not take shit, and we're taught to protect ourselves. And so that's what I was doing. And a lot of men don't really like that. So, and they don't, protect us.
They don't understand it.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
So when I get with these males, oh, you too controlling, oh, you too hard body, oh, you too this, like, well, I mean, that's the only way I know how to be. So is it a fault on my end? Is it a fault on my parents' end? Or like, what is it? It's not saying that I'm not capable of learning or reevaluating or changing who I am. It's just gonna take time because that's only thing that I know.
It's no fault to anybody. It's just now that you're older and you're wiser and you have the opportunity to make a change, then it's the exposure of being around certain friends and certain different families, and you're like, oh, so you can live this softer, or oh, you don't have to go so hard about this. Somebody can be there to take care of you, or you can open up your heart to, different men and there's different situations, and identifying how they can add value to your life. And it's a survival technique, how you've been living. And there's other ways to still survive without being so hard body. So you're already doing it just by acknowledging the fact that you don't want to be that way, because you don't want your daughter to see that.
Yeah, I don't. And I think a lot too with me being at my job, oh, you this, oh, I can't date you, or oh, you tough, and a lot of people say like the type of jobs that we have plays a part in our femininity. So is it, I'm really trying to distinguish, like, is that true? Like, just because I have this career path, that doesn't necessarily make me, masculine all the time. I just have a masculine job because the job that I work was typically designed for males, Caucasian males at that. But now that the blacks or the African Americans are, I don't even want to say infiltrating, but now that we are
joining forces,
it's a different dynamic. And so I'm not doing it to be masculine. I'm doing it because it's something that I'm passionate about. And so I really try to distinguish my passion and, my masculinity, but I still have a job to do. It's not that I'm trying to, because I wear a badge and a gun, that I'm this big authoritative figure. I have more authority over the average individual, or I'm gonna use that as a cloak to be this way when it's not.
I never thought about that. As far as people judging women based off of their career choice as well.
Yeah, I had a lot of men. They were like, "Oh, I don't want to date you because you're a cop," or "You might actually want to date one of your cop friends." I.e., who I told you hit me up recently. Him, for example, like he would be like, "Oh, you need to date a cop because you don't understand. Like, you don't understand what I'm going this, that, and the third. You need a cop. Go date a cop." Like, no, I don't want to date that. Like, are you jealous? Are you envious of that type of person? Like, what is it?
They fail to realize that you have a life outside of your work. Like, you're not perfect. You're not. Yes, you're a law-abiding citizen, but that's it. That's all.
Yeah. Most guys, or they just wanna, like Lil Wayne said, wanna do it just because of another notch under their belt. But yeah, I'm really turning over my leaf and trying to love myself because I have dealt with real bad insecurities and things like that. So with me turning over into my feminine, not being my alpha female, my masculine. I had to take a step back and really think, about what I really wanted out of this. So.
And although I'm always saying, like, I think I'm in my feminine and I've always been there, I don't know if it goes hand in hand, but I was recently told, like, oh, you're just so independent. You're not allowing a man to let the man do what a man's supposed to do. And I'm just like, dang, I never really thought that I would receive that type of message from someone. But when you pride yourself on how to get things done, knowing that you will be able to exceed at getting it done, it's kind of hard to let people in because they can either hinder you, pull you down, or just get in the way and prolong the process. So that's what I'm trying to work on, as far as just like allowing someone
to do that. So how did that make you feel in that moment when they told you that you're just too independent, that you need to?
I was a little baffled because I never thought of myself like that, as far as like too independent to let somebody help me. Like, no, I thought I was, we could work in collaboration, but
join a coalition.
Yeah, but apparently it was just a little too aggressive, I assume. But I've been hearing that all last year. Like, I don't know what was going on, but I don't know if they projected as far as like, oh, well, you do accomplish a lot, so that's just you being independent, or if they really see me as like you're not allowing anybody in. And so I don't know, I guess I gotta have more reflection time on that, but that didn't rub me right, and I don't think anybody wants to be too independent to where they can't be receiving of help or anything, because I'm a big believer that take the help. Somebody want to do it for you, allow them to, as long as you're not doing it maliciously or just taking advantage of people.
And that's what I'm learning now, is to allow somebody to try and help me. Like, I remember I would go on dates and I would be so like, I'll pay for myself, like, I got it, you don't have to pay for me, like, but it's a date, like, girl, calm down, like, let him pay for your food. But I used to have that immature mindset, like, well, I know what I like to eat, so I don't know what this man's pocket is. Is there like a limit on what I can spend? Do I gotta get a salad and a salad only, because I'm really not a salad eating chick.
That is,
so,
yeah, it is.
I'm like, I cannot pay for, let's just do Dutch, so I can feel comfortable to get what I want to get. Or let's say, if like I would be in a store, I'll be instantly pay for what I need to pay for. Or when we go to the gas station, or no, I got it, not wanting that, because I'm just being so independent and
I tell you this all the time, that enables them. That enables them to think that, oh, well, I ain't gotta do nothing, she good. No.
If you wanna do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I messed around and did that one time. I went on a date and he paid for dinner and I was trying to pay for the movies, and my friend said, don't do that again. I'm like, why? I'm trying to be, kind, and it's just like, that really makes the man feel like, oh, she probably think I can't afford it.
Like, what do they call it? Like, emasculating?
Yeah, emasculating.
Yeah, something like that. I wonder, is that really how they feel, or is it, okay, what she got, I ain't got nothing else.
Beats me, but it did make sense.
It does.
Because we fighting to pay for it, and I'm just like, okay, dang, my bad. So I don't think he liked that. He was like, don't offer to pay for that no more. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's essentially just how it's supposed to be. But let's.
And we were just dating. That was like our first date. Maybe once we're in a relationship, but
then it's okay.
Yeah.
After so long, but when you're dating, I guess not. And I guess that's really why I really don't date, because I know that I'll be cautious, or try to be cautious of another person's pocket, and I'll just want to do it. But I have to stop. Well, I have stopped doing that now, since I done turned over into my feminine side. Like, I don't do that now, but I was doing it, so I don't do it now. Like, the check come on, blah. Twiddling my thumbs and fingers. And it be like so hard for me not to say, but I'm like, okay, let me just get in my phone, I guess.
But also, you gotta know the man that you're dating.
That is true. But how are we gonna know if it's a person? Is it something that we like get, like we feel?
Well, first of all, that's why I personally be like, well, if you're gonna ask me on a date, you choose the place we go to, because then he most likely looked at the menu, he know what he get himself into. But if I'm saying, oh, I want you to take me here, it's like, dang, she a little. Yeah. Right. So that's one way to gauge it, and people show their representative, but it all has to fall at one point. So that's on them. If they keep it up, they keep it up. If they can't, then it's gonna show. It's gonna show for sure.
For sure.
Why do you think that it's important to remain in your feminine?
I think it's important to remain in our feminine. Just off of like self-value. Like, a lot of people have these preconceived notions of what a feminine is, or this Americanized, I hope I said that word right, but image of the modern day woman, I should say, or the family woman, which is a lot of women who are, as the Caucasians, who are submissive, and or like the stay-at-home moms, so they have everything set down, or whatever the case may be. I think it's important to remain in our feminine because we can dictate how we're being treated. To me, I should say, because if I remain in my feminine, I know what I'm willing to accept and what I'm not willing to accept, and I can be submissive to the right man. And it's important for me because I can have a softer side. Like, I don't have to always be wrong, big dog. I've been big dog for so long, trying to be little pup. So I think it's important for women to really like value themselves as a feminine and walk with grace. Because a lot of us don't walk with grace. We walk, goddamn, like we about to jump through the fucking door or something. So I think it's important for us to remain in our feminine because a man knows how he's going to treat us. They know what they want from us the moment they see us when we're in our feminine. Whether they're going to have sex with us, we're one night stand, they're going to marry us, because I truly believe that a man knows what he wants to do with a woman from the moment that he sees her. Whichever setting that he may meet this woman in. I also believe in love at first sight too. So I believe that it's important for us to be in our feminine because we're a little soft. We come off differently than we would if we were not in our feminine or if we were not alpha female, because a man already knows, well, shit, either I'm gonna use her, abuse her, whatever the case may be.
Because when they run into those alpha women, they probably think of it as a challenge, and they never essentially think like, oh, this is the person I want to marry. It's just something to do, just something like try to knock her off her feet, whatever. Like I'm gonna break her down, and then boom. But when they see a feminine woman, it's like, okay, this is why I like women, because she is soft, she is feminine. Like they can go with their homeboys if they want to see all that rah-rah. So I think it's very important, not even just like, because I know you really pressed on, for ourselves, but also in the dating world, since we want to be married. So I think it is good that a man can just see a woman and be like, okay, I want to take care of her. She'll take care of me, because it's kind of scary for them to see a rah-rah woman and it's like, well, is she going to take care of me, or am I always going to have to hear her nagging and complaining?
Yeah, and it also goes into our roles as a male and a female. When you're in your feminine, we play our roles. Like, I'll make sure that dinner is made. I'll make sure the house is clean. We play the roles that we were, I don't even want to say taught, but that was Americanized or that was brought up about. So we start to play our roles, and then the male play their roles when you're in that feminine and that masculine, because we're allowing a man to be a man and allowing a female to be the female. So we're allowing that male to provide, we're allowing him to protect us, we're allowing him to lead. We are learning how to be submissive, and not submissive in a manner of, I'm gonna make sure, let me take your shoes off when he get home or anything like that, or
not a do girl, but maintaining respect, respecting ourselves, respecting him.
I'm not saying like I heard, I don't even know if it was a skit, but I heard like, y'all take my man's shoes off when he gets to the house, or when he went out of town, I'm packing his bags. So no, that's not being submissive at all. That's not what being submissive is. Like, being submissive is knowing how to play a role and knowing how to take a backseat and let your man lead. And it's not about controlling. Like, when we having conversations, when you talking, like it's certain times like where you're supposed to input yourself when you should speak. So it's not saying like, for instance, you know how they say when we go out to eat, the tab ain't right, I know my girl gonna make sure, or whatever, if they get something wrong, I know my girl gonna make sure that. Or when they having like those conversations, and with a male having a conversation, we don't have to always input ourselves in their conversation. Let him do what he's doing as a man, and that's that. Take the back seat. We don't always have to have a leg in anything. So it's just about playing your role and knowing how to really sit back for once in a while.
Because we can't keep using the excuse like, oh well, these men out here haven't proved to us that we can depend on them. You gotta vet these men better. My homeboy kept telling me, you're not vetting them right. You're not vetting them right. You're just being too kind. Okay, well, I switched it up real quick, and I allowed them to be the man and see what they're capable and willing to do. And by man, you gotta go with that one, and you gotta start denying these guys. Like, yeah, you cute, yeah, we have a little good time, but you don't mark off all my checks, and unfortunately, you can't stay. So
and we don't have to have sex with them immediately, not the first day, second day, or whatever. Like, let things happen naturally. Like, you don't have people, because we went out, you're not gonna have sex with you or whatever. Or even with that, like, let's just stop having sex with them so early on and so quick. And I know that may sound cliche or whatever, that a lot of people say it, but I remember watching Steve Harvey, that show. He was like the 90-day rule or whatever like that. We need to bring that back, because even though 90 days, they were saying, once 90 days come, a man go hit, cool, he can hit on the first day, or what, it doesn't matter how they're going to treat you after they have sex with you. That's all they want, because he can hit you on the first day and leave, or he can hit you on the 90th day.
At least you gave yourself that time to vet and identify if this is somebody you can see yourself with without that sex as being a distraction.
Exactly.
And a validating piece on, well, we already started now, so you might as well.
Yeah. So I think that's very important. Also, going back to Steve Harvey, I was listening to his, it was like a real Instagram when he was like, how you had mentioned like the check marks and stuff like that. So when we're doing these check marks on what we want in a guy, those same check marks, we need to make sure that those are the same check marks for ourselves. Because if it's not, then how I want to say I want a man who got a college degree and I ain't got no college degree. I'll say I want a man that got 6 figures and I don't have 6 figures. Like, sometimes we be jumping through the roof, like reaching. We
can't even sit.
Yeah.
Sit right there.
We can't even sit at the table.
Right.
So I think we need to start evaluating ourselves first too, when we're going for those type of men. And also dating men within our class. And when I mean dating men within our class, I'm not talking about financial class. I'm talking about like where we are spiritually, where we are mentally, and maturity,
intellect.
Dating men within that. So I had a male friend who was like, would you date a man that worked at McDonald's? And I was like, no. Like, he was like, but he ain't got no record. He's working day in and day out. He's like, let's just say he's the manager. He's like working really, really hard. And, you doing what you're doing, but you making more money than him, but he's a good man. He does everything right. Would you date him?
I've already provided myself a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And me trying to lessen that because I'm trying to be kind, I'm not able to do that.
Yeah. I had told him no, and he was just saying like, no, you ain't shit, dog. You ain't shit. And I'm like, no, I don't think we're in the same bracket. And I'm not even saying financially either, but your job says a lot about you, the type of person that you are, for sure. And so it's just like, general manager, or chain, whatever. You have multiple locations.
CEO.
For sure. Yeah, but if you over there tossing fries, then you for sure got a record. You don't have no work ethic.
You don't even have the self-confidence to apply for something more or go back to school, obtain a certificate. Like, we've invested so much time in our education and just job careers, stepping stones to our overall goal, because we're not even where we want to be right now. And so if that man is not investing as much time as he has, like we have for ourselves, then what's the point? Like, clearly our mindsets are different, and that's no fault to that man. It's just, can't touch me.
At all. And that's why I think it's really really important that we also heal ourselves. Like, we have to be healed to step into these new eras or into that type of mentality. And not saying that I'm fully healed, because I'm still healing, I'm still growing, and I'm still trying to build that connection with God, grow in my spirituality, which is why I did what I did with the coloring on my hair. Just decided to go natural for the first 6 months of the year. No acrylic, no weave, no braids, no nothing. And to truly heal myself, continue to walk on my healing journey, as I should say.
First, I have to start loving your truest form.
Yeah, and that's why I'm gonna go natural and pour into myself, and instead of pouring into other relationships. And I'm not talking about friendships, I'm talking about relationships with males. Let me start loving on myself. Let me build my connection with God and start walking in the eyes of the Lord. Let me start there, and once I master this and heal myself fully, then I will really be in my feminine. But I will also reach a new height that I didn't know that I could reach. So even with the last relationship, or the situationship, because it was a relationship when I was dealing with the man, and then he ended up having a baby, how hard it hurt me. I'm like, dang, I finally met someone who was everything that I needed. The man was providing, he was protecting, he was leading. We would have very, very, very intellectual conversations, and it just seemed like everything was right. Everything was where it needed to be. And then boom, found out that he had a baby the day after his birthday. The girl waited forever long or whatever, and I was crying, I was boo crying in the bathroom, friend. The next day I was crying, and the next day I was crying, and on the 4th day, I was sitting here I just disconnected myself from my friends. I'm sitting here crying every day. I'm like, why am I crying so much? I was so affected and hurt by it, because I guess, that was my first time ever finding or having a man who was met everything that really, when the saying was too good to be true, it was literally too good to be true.
But God wasn't going to reward you with something you weren't ready for.
And that was the lesson. So I have to really sit, as I told you before, I have to really sit and figure out what was the lesson. And God was pretty much telling me that I was capable of being loved. I was capable of being submissive to a man. I was capable and able to have all of those things, but I wasn't ready. I was not ready to receive that. And how I knew I wasn't able to receive that, because I still was dealing with my own personal insecurities. I would still ask the what if questions, what if a girl hit you up, or what if you see the prettiest girl in the world and she would come up in here and try to holler at you. I was still dealing with those insecurities and not loving myself, and not having that confidence within myself to know that if the prettiest girl walked up in here, he'll still have me right now. I'm the prettiest girl that he ever seen, no matter what they may show on social media or whatever. I'm still who he want to be with and who he love, and I still lack trust. And so, because of the situations or things, I would still ask what if questions, and lacking trust of if he was out, my heart would start beating so fast. I start hyperventilating, oh yeah, what are you doing, and forcing myself not to have those thoughts. So when that situation came about, I had to reflect, and I wasn't ready. God wasn't going to reward me with something that I wasn't ready for. And so that's how I knew that I have to truly, truly be healed in order to receive that, or in order to be eligible for that type of man, because I wasn't ready for that type of man. I can say that right now, I was not ready for that man. And he'll bless me again with that man, but now I know that I'm able to receive that, because that man, he was literally reassuring me in everything. But that's not my love language. Reassurance is not a love language, and I shouldn't have to be reassured as a woman. Like, I should already be standing on business, as we keep saying. Like, I should already know. So that's why I want to pour into myself more, love myself more, and connect with God and walk like with grace, walk by faith and not by sight. And so that way I can fully be eligible to receive everything that I'm destined to receive.
So you spoke on that reassurance isn't a love language, but words of affirmation is, and you have to identify if that's something that you do need, because it sounded like he was able to provide that to you, but other men in your past weren't able to provide that.
They weren't, because other men in my past knew that I struggled from insecurities, so they would use that as a tool to hit below the belt and be like, oh, you ugly, oh, bitch, you this, or bitch, you can't do that, ugly, 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 ugly. And because that was something that I was dealing with internally, that's when I started to think like, oh, I'm ugly, like, oh, I'm not beautiful, or I'm not this, or let me put weave on in my hair, let me have long nails, let me start doing my makeup more and start trying to become what these men see or what they like on social media. And I'm just caking on makeup and makeup and makeup, and that's not beautiful either, because if I'm not feeling it eternally, it's going to show on the outside. So again, in the past, people knew I was dealing with it, so they use that against me to make me feel so mentally and mess me up, because, you know, when we go through our moments, we may feel like we're not at our best. I'm like, oh, I'm ugly, I don't feel beautiful today, or whatever. So
right. So what are you doing to overcome, and what does your healing journey look like?
My healing journey looks like, for me right now, is I'm reading. As you know, I love to read. I read a lot, and I have this manifestation app, not a promotion, but the Manifest app, and it gives you words of affirmation daily, all day to be exact. So I just pretty much pour into myself by telling myself, you know, I am worthy of this, I am that. I'm also doing the 30 days with Jesus, and so I'm connecting with God on a spiritual level. I'm reading my Bible. I'm also pretty much just writing down my thoughts in my little book every night before I go to bed. I read my 30 days with Jesus, I read the Bible, and then I'll read this other book. It's called What They Did Not Tell Me, or What I Wish I Would Have Known. And it's like a therapy in a book, literally. So I just read a chapter a day, and the chapter is only like 2 pages, if that. And so just reading it helped me think about like my subconscious mind, because that's what holds a lot of things. So when she was talking about the subconscious mind, it just had me think like what I should be instilling in my subconscious mind, because once you instill what's in your subconscious mind, it'll come out in your conscious mind. So just reading and just going through those phases that I need to go through. So right now, I feel like this could be one of the toughest phases that I'm in right now, which is loving myself. So loving me in my natural state, with my hair, my nails, and like no makeup, essentially. So which is, I know that I would go through that. So because some days I may wake up not pretty, or some days I will wake up feeling beautiful. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel, because of I've never been in my natural state for so long. So I don't know how to tame my natural hair. I don't even know how to do my natural hair, because the only thing I know how to do is get braids, weave, or sew in. You know, so I feel like this is a big part of my growth, and I'm gonna go through it, and then
And it's good that you're doing it while you're single, because now you're not having someone that you're self-conscious around. Like, he's so used to me doing X, Y, and Z, but now I'm doing it for myself, so I don't have no judgment or no fear of judgment from a particular spouse or whatever the case may be. So I'm here for it. Right? You got me motivated.
And what about you and your healing? I know that you've been through a lot in the past year, you know, with losing your child's father, and of course you're beautiful already. So like, do you suffer from insecurities, or how is your healing being on the aspect of, you dealing with that traumatic situation?
I get through it because of my daughter. Kimberly, she is her dad, so that's always a good reminder of like what a blessing it was for him to have been in my life, even if it was for a short period of time. He was able to provide me with such a huge blessing moving forward for the remainder of my life. I have a close relationship with his family still, so I can always just talk to them about him, or it's just the fact that I got so many pictures and videos just validated our love and why Kimberly's here. So that's just a good reminder. That was my first true personal death that I experienced. So now I know my resiliency is pretty up there when it comes to things of that nature, because I just did not know. But I think I've been managing it very well.
You have.
I'm an open book. I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell anybody anything. So as a therapist myself, I know how important it is to be heard. So and to talk about it, and that's all I do is talk about it to whoever want to hear. So I don't hold it in. There's no regrets. There's no concerns. It's just I'm just going with it day by day, and so it's just been unique with the dating experience though, because like although it's still recent that he passed away, and it's kind of hard to explain like why I'm so confident in knowing that I'm ready to start dating again and move past it. And so that's just the only struggle I've been coming across, and then clearly this sense of independence that I have, but just having my parents there as well, like yeah,
they're the goats.
They're great. Yeah, they're really great. So just me having support. I lost friends along the way, but that's fine because they weren't supposed to be there. So, and I think like just you and just my parents and stuff like that, it's for them. It's really for them. Like me and my mom's relationship even got better over time. It's crazy. So I could talk to her about certain things. I could cry to her now. Like if you don't have a good relationship with your parents, move out the house. That's all it is.
For sure.
Because it's a whole, what is it, 90-degree difference?
It's a whole 100.
Yeah.
It's a 360.
360 is going back to where you started though.
Well, okay.
It's a whole turn. Yeah, it's crazy though. So
we can say turn around.
Yeah.
Because it is like,
yeah. And although, and back to just the first topic we were talking about with the feminine energy, like I was raised in a 2-parent household, but my mom was very much still, head of the household when it comes to like discipline or just managing certain things, getting things done. So I do pick up on a lot of her traits, and my dad was the cool, chill, laid back, but he was the provider for sure, still very much a leader. My mom and my dad were leaders, so it's like I see a different, dynamic. So I don't believe in the societal norms of what a woman and a man should do in a relationship, but remaining feminine is still key. Like, how can this man love me when I'm not even allowing him to love me how he wants to love me? Men, I think about this all the time, and just like you're on your spiritual journey, I'm on mine, and I'm learning to have unconditional love for men that I'm dealing with, because I can be pretty standoffish and don't touch me. We only got to be doing all that. But if a man is craving that, where else is he going to get it from? Probably not getting it from his mama, and then we don't want them to be out here just holding around. So we gotta get that from me. So that's the role I gotta play, and that's what I'm trying to learn.
And I think that it also plays a part in the death of your child's father too. Because that's the man that you love and you was gonna be with, and he wanted to marry you. And so losing that, you lost a lot of affection that you had before. So I think that plays a part in it too, because you still healing from that too. And you're never gonna be fully healed from losing somebody, because everywhere you turn, you're still gonna have a thought. You're gonna see him and your daughter every day, so it's almost like you're reliving that moment over and over and over. But you have to find a man or get a man, or not even find or get, because you're not looking. You want God to bring him, but a man who's going to enter your life have to be understanding of that and accepting of that, and know that it's going to be moments that I'm going to have when it comes to this situation. Or he may visit me in a dream, and it may change my mood or alter my mood in a way that may not be suitable for you to handle at the moment. So you definitely have to, a man has to come to you correct when it comes to that, and just be a little bit more understanding, especially if they have not dealt with that themselves. So.
You know how often I hear like, "Are you over him?" What do you mean over him? He passed away. I don't get what people mean by that. Like, I don't like he was taken away while we were still in the midst of trying to, be lovey-dovey and be cool and cordial and all other crazy relationship things. Like, we was still in the midst before he passed. So I don't know, cause like honestly, if he was still here, that's who I would prefer to be with. Period.
That's who you would be with,
And so, like, but how do you say that? Like, why are y'all fishing for those type of questions when y'all not ready for the answer? Like,
definitely not ready, because it's only gonna start conflict and have conflict.
Right. And I'm never gonna lie to make you feel better. Like, oh no, y'all were standing side by side. It would be you. Like, no, it probably would.
It would be him, for sure.
Him, but I mean, I can still love you the same. You just gotta give me some time. Like, you literally have to give me some time. And I'm deserving of love still. Like, what happened was tragic, but I'm still living. I'm the one that's still here. So what you expect me to do? Like,
sit in misery? No.
I don't compare him to other people or them to him or anything of that nature. So I think I'm pretty good regarding that. They just gotta be understanding of me and how blunt I am about that. Like, you're not gonna sit. I remember I was talking to you know who, and he was just like, I see you still talk about him and be around his family. Like, are you sure you're over it? Like,
why wouldn't I be around his family? I have a whole child with this man, and I want my child to know who her family is. Not just my family, to have a relationship with his family, because that's important. Family is important no matter what, no matter if he was still here or not. Like, my daughter deserves to know her father's family,
her lineage.
Yeah, and have that relationship. And you deserve to have that relationship with them too, and to keep that window and that door open for Kenny's sake,
Exactly.
So.
And they ultimately became my family too. Like, I've gained so many sisters and brothers and stuff. So
yeah, because they are a big support too, and they're really big on family too. So, and I love it. So
I don't know. You just gotta be a strong-minded person. I guess this is another one of the single mother situations of the baggage, but people without kids be having baggage too.
Way more baggage than we do.
Exactly. At least we could take care of another individual.
Hello, because a lot of them can't even take care of themselves.
So it is what it is. But yeah, my healing journey is good. Thank you. And so I've been doing the Bible studies every Tuesday. So I gotta get you added on there. And I'm in a prayer group on Mondays as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe that you don't have to go to church. Because somebody asked me, like, you're in your spiritual journey, but you don't go to church. Like, I don't have to go to church to be on my spiritual journey or to praise the Lord. Like, I don't have to do that. I can still praise him from the comfort of my home. I can praise him from the comfort of